Hey, Kansas City, welcome to a special episode of House of Hustle, brought to you by Capital Investment Management and our great friends at Charlie Hustle. You know, we had a great conversation with JaRon Rush, of course, a high school basketball legend here in Kansas City, and my friend Rick Parker, who's the head coach of Northland Elite basketball. We had a great discussion with them on Hot Mic with SSJ. As I said, you know what? This was such a good basketball discussion. I want to share it with our listeners and viewers of House of Hustle. And so, well, we present that to you now as a special edition, a crossover edition of Hot Mic with SSJ and House of Hustle. JaRon, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty good. Just excited to take part of this podcast, and I'm really appreciative of inviting me on.
And now, our other guest here is a guy that I've become really good friends with over the past several years. And I met him in a Quick Trip. So that sounds like a weird story. I met him in a Quick Trip. And so I remember one day I was taking my daughter to play in a soccer tournament at the Italian Festival at Zona Rosa. And my daughter really doesn't play soccer. She likes to play basketball. But my friends had asked her, hey, we need an extra girl. And she likes to play sports. She likes to be involved with stuff. And so we were stopping at Quick Trip to get some water and some Gatorade before we went to play an early morning game, because that's what soccer does. You play like at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning or whatever. And so we're getting ready to play, and Rick Parker comes up to me, I think, and you asked who I was or if I was Stephen St. John.
Right.
And so I said, yeah, hey, what's up? And so you said you listened to the show, but then you told me you also coach for a girls basketball team or a girls basketball program. And you asked if my girls play. I said, we do. We play for St. Gabe's, their school. And then you gave me the information about Northland Elite. And then later on that week, we went to that church on, what's not too far from Zona Rosa, a little church on the, I don't remember the road. Was it Platte Woods?
Oh, yeah, right off of Prairie Point.
And so we show up there. How old were they?
They were young.
I mean, it's been.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's been several years, and so the rest is history. So then both of my girls played for Northland Elite through grade school, and then Rick was kind enough to help me coach the St. Gabe's basketball team, because I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, I'm good at. I'm the motivational coach. Come on, girls, defense
this weekend.
Get your hands up. No, we were both mad. We both got hot in the huddle at one point. Oh boy, hold on now. And so, and so now, my daughter Julia no longer plays basketball because she has devoted her time to. She loves track and field, and she does a long jump, and so that's what she does. But Selena still plays basketball. She's on the JV team. She's going to be a sophomore JV team at St. Pius, and she's back playing with Northland Elite. We just got back from a tournament in Tulsa where we won. Hey, if I got to mention the result. We won.
Right.
If we didn't win, I wouldn't have said that. I would have told you we still won, but we won. And so Rick Parker, the head coach of Northland Elite, which is now expanded to boys and girls and a whole bunch of teams. I'll let him tell you about that. So Rick, good morning. How you doing?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. This is great.
And grab the mic. Get right up on the mic. You can't be too close, but you can be too far.
Okay.
And so
that's my fault.
And so let's start with we'll start with Rick first.
Okay.
Tell me your background in basketball and how you started with your love of basketball, like where you played, where you grew up, and what led you to. I feel like you coach 5 practices every day, and every weekend you got a tournament. Whenever I talk to you,
10 games.
You're on your way to practice. Right. You're coming home from practice. You're at practice.
Right.
You're at a game, watching the game. You're on the way. You got 2 games at the same time. And so, tell me about your basketball background and what led you to run Northland Elite.
So, I don't have a resume like JaRon, of course.
Who does?
I know, right? But just grew up playing basketball. I was actually introduced to AAU basketball when I met Coach Al Collins. And that's kind of where I kind of met like all the guys, Earl Watson, and like Floyd Hawkins, which is Jeff Hawkins' brother. I was never as good as those guys. but played through high school and stuff. And then just from that relationship, that's how I kind of met JaRon and, looking up to these guys, over the years. But
And where'd you play at high school?
I played at Wyandotte High School for my first 2 years.
KCK.
KCK.
So
And
my
then-
mama went to high school.
And then I wouldn't play varsity out at Bonner Springs with my cousin, Corey
All right.
Doss.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And so AAU, and then so you met some of these guys, and so
Yep.
then how did it end up to where you wanted to become a coach?
So it's funny you asked that because I was a parent on the sideline when my daughter, when Yu first
Intern
started.
Yu
Intern
of A New
Yu,
Day
right?
with SSJ, one of our bright young interns who is angrily gets up at 5 a.m. to come in and do the show, right? You've told me she's not a morning person. I go, we'll see.
I don't even know she's an afternoon person.
Right,
so.
right. But you know what? She actually, the last couple of times, she smiled when she got here to work. So I don't know how that,
nice.
so
All
there we
right.
go.
Progress.
Right.
No, but how I started Northland Elite is I wasn't even a coach. I was a YMCA parent watching Yu play, and of course I was one of those loud parents on the sideline. So what happened is,
Loud as some of the parents we saw down in Tulsa.
I'm like JaRon. I kind of stand up while I'm cheering on my kid and
Right.
start. That's how I really got close with JaRon because I was coaching Tally. But anyway,
Because JaRon,
that's another story.
We saw some wild ass parents in Tulsa.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
Oklahoma
Oh,
parents.
yeah.
I didn't know if we were gonna be able to leave the gym after we won that tournament. But
Oh,
we were
yeah.
we were all right.
Wow.
They were not.
We
We've all
some
seen that.
security.
Right.
But just from there, and then one of the coach said, "Hey, we're gonna be out of town. Can you run practice for us? Because the girls listen to you while you over there."
Okay, so was this already elite?
No.
Oh no, so this was just a YMCA?
This was just YMCA.
Okay, so that's the same way my kids started playing
Yeah,
YMCA.
This was YMCA
At the PAC Center right there,
It was at
right?
the PAC Center.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No. This was at Levo when they
Okay.
had Levo.
All right, I got you.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Right.
Yeah, Levo. And no, so I ran practice. Then I ran the next practice when the coaches showed back up, and I ran the next practice after that. You mind covering this game for us? I was like, okay. Now back in YMCA, you can't steal the ball. and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
But the thing is, all it is a motivational thing. Girls that young. So
So how old was she at this point?
I think she was in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you're just teaching them the basics. at that
Yeah,
point.
just stuff I kind of learned off, AU going through, through the process and stuff like that. And then YMCA got a little too easy for us. So, we started winning. And these were girls. It was just girls.
Right.
Girls playing against boys, beating all the boys' team.
Good.
So I said, well, parents, it's time to go to that competitive side, because this is too easy. They're not getting anything. And from there, that's when we tried to go to a competitive league, and we lost every game for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Then I was asking, I was like, hey, I'm not sure if this is what we need to be doing right now.
Yeah.
But they was like, hey, we got you, coach. Keep going.
Yeah.
And then from there, you started to get more kids coming in, more girls. They're inviting friends to practice. Now, looks like we have 15 kids versus 8 kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then we show up with 20. I'm like, okay, now it's time to, create 2 teams.
Mhm.
So now, but then we were the Cobras.
The Cobras. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we were
All
the
right.
Cobras. That's where the Cobras started. And did you ever meet John Robinette? You remember John?
I knew John. We used to work out together down in the
okay.
city market area, and so I knew John. Obviously, he passed away now,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
unfortunately, yeah.
But yeah, I knew, and then I didn't know that early on he was involved with the team. I didn't. That's not where I knew him from, but I knew him just from around.
Well, John has a very strong personality.
Yes.
So he was kind of forced me into it.
Right. Oh yeah.
He was like, "Come on, coach. We got let's build this thing. Let's do it."
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
right. I can see that.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, and he made up the Cobras, and actually the colors, our color scheme, because he was a huge Seattle Seahawks fan. That's
Really?
how we got the blue and the
So that was the birth of Northland Elite. Before that's where the color scheme came
And
from.
then it was a buddy of mine that I had lunch with. He said, "Man, you should just come up with a name like Northland Elite." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds pretty
There it
cool."
is.
You know, there it is.
There it is.
That's kind of how it started. You know, we started out with 2 teams. We peaked at one time at 18 teams. You know, we got probably 15 going strong right now.
15 teams.
Yeah.
And it's boys and girls,
Boys
all
and
age
girls,
levels.
yeah. And the thing is, Northland Elite now is just really a brand, not really a, you know, location.
Right.
So I mean, I got Zoe to play with us in Tulsa. She's from Lexington.
All over. Yeah, we've had girls
we're
all over the place.
I mean, most of my boys varsity are there, and they're at Bonner, and then I got some boys at center.
We had some girls from out in Kansas before.
Yeah, out in Troy, Kansas.
Troy,
Kansas.
Yeah. So it gets all over the place. And so it's
As a matter of fact, they started with Rush Elite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
got,
remember Harper?
Harper and what was it, Jocelyn?
Yeah, and then
Well, no,
Nicole and
Jocelyn.
yeah.
The little small one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of how it
Yeah.
kind of start happening.
okay. So that's Northland Elite. He mentioned Rush Elite, and you train kids and coach kids. And for people that look, I mean, there's some. By the way, fellas, we're getting old, and I hate to admit it,
Yeah.
but there might be some younger kids, younger people that don't know your history. Take us through your life and career in basketball, and the path that led you to where you are right now.
We got enough time on the show.
Yeah, right. I could cut it short. No, but
or leave it alone. Whatever.
You're just growing up in the city, in the inner city. That was kind of our outlet. So just going to the park, playing basketball and things like that. And so one of my first coaches was John Walker.
Okay.
And so because we would go to the Boys and Girls Club, that'd be another outlet for us. I went at the YMCA, we were the
Right.
Boys and Girls Club, 23rd Street. And so met John Walker there. Actually, I met him at the 43rd Street one. And just basically just playing pickup games and just things like that. And then eventually he put together some teams. We had Little Myron Piggy on the team. We had Mitchell Bird. We had his brother Marlon before he passed away. We just had much of the whole city. And so.
But how early was it apparent that you were something different, that you were just this otherworldly talent?
I just think when I first started off,
right off the bat,
Boys and Girls Club, because I just had the instinct of just doing all the little things, beating guys off the dribble, shooting a basketball, and then I had that sense of that inner city attitude. So it just made me want to go out there and compete every day, and that's what we did. I mean, we was in the gym every single day, like mostly all day. So we just crafting our skills and things like that, and so it just really, really helped me with some of the talented players that we had on our teams when I was growing up. Because I was playing 2 or 3 years up. I was playing with Derek Hood. I was playing with T. Lou on CMH Children's Mercy Hospital. Chris Wings at Stanford. Chestnut.
To Washington, right? Chris Wings.
Went to White.
No,
he went to Slagle. He went to Slagle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, then you got Earl. We had so many people. Brandon Jones, BJ, Ryan Burton. I mean, it was just so much talent that we had around each other. And so, our bond was just so good.
Terry Nooner.
Nooner.
See, and people don't remember the game, like when Hood and Lou played at Municipal Auditorium.
Yeah.
People don't get what it was like. And I remember, like when I was in high school, the team was Raytown South. It had Javon Crudup and Chris Lindley. And then the big deal where, Chris Lindley was going to go to Kansas and Crudup was going to go to Missouri. And then obviously the tragic accident would happen with Chris. But I mean, there were still high school basketball, not that it's not great now and popular. It was something else back then, right?
Yeah.
It was different.
Yes.
And you were a part of that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like you mentioned Derek Hood. I remember he could jump out of a gym.
Oh, yeah. He was one of the most athletic people I've ever been around because he can run the court like a deer. Then he can jump out the gym. So, it was just great always just in the gym with him. So
if you can't say you, who was the best Kansas City player that you either, and it doesn't have to be in high school, could have been in AAU, whatever, that you either played with or against?
The most difficult, I mean, there's two because they were so much bigger and stronger. And I was even big back in the day because I was lifting weights with Javarak, our weightlifting coach. But the strongest people I ever played with always gave me the hardest problems. And one guy was on my team was Corey Maggette. And growing up in Chicago, he would always have to fly down for the weekends. Corleone would come up as well.
Corleone Young, and
Yeah,
so
Corleone.
Corey Maggette went to DePaul, or no?
Duke.
Okay, Duke. And then who was at DePaul? You remember when your brother Kareem played? And
Quentin.
Quentin Richardson.
Quentin Richardson.
I remember when I was doing the show at Whitlock.
Yeah.
And we went to that game. I think your brother dropped maybe 36 or something against them. But the talent that was on the floor that night, right? And so I remember, I don't know why I thought Maggette, but I remember Quentin Richardson. That was an unbelievable game.
Yeah.
With your brother and Corleone Young. I mean, all these names you're throwing out there. So those are the two that stand out to you, right?
Yep. Also, Ron Artest. So, man, he was just so strong. I mean, I hated playing against him because, I mean, couldn't drive on him or anything. He put those big old shoulders on you, big old, big old hands. I like all of them. All of them from New York. Yeah, Elton Brand, Eric Barkley. Man, they smacked us up at Pembroke at 1 year. I think we lost by 30 or 40. Man, it was like 120 in that Pembroke Hill gym. So,
but you did that to a lot of other teams.
Yes,
like around here, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I don't think we ever. I don't know when's the last time we lost in Kansas City. We always had to go out of town because we had so much talent. And don't forget, most of the players on our team were superstars in the high school area. And so then we flying in. We also had Mike Miller, who was coming down from one of the Dakota states. So he was coming down every weekend. So, I mean, we just had a squad. And only time we really lost was mostly traveling. Yeah. So we're playing against really good teams like Houston Hoops. They had Rashard Lewis. New York had their crew. Georgia had Deion Glover and Jermaine Jones down there.
You saw my producer Jay come in here. He goes, "Yeah, play against you when I was with the Quans. I had 2 points," and he was proud to say it. I had 2.
Yeah.
We were up at halftime, but then you guys stopped playing around. Yeah. But it was like that.
Yes,
you know. I mean, nobody in Kansas City was going to compete with you guys.
No, not at all.
And that was wild. And you guys were like. I mean, I was like, you were like rock stars when your games. Yeah. Yes. Everyone would go and everyone would see. I mean, what was that like to be in high school and to have that type of attention? I've talked to Tony Temple about this. Different. Yeah. It's football, and also football is different. You got your helmet on or whatever else. Basketball is more intimate. The crowd's on you. They see you. You're out there. What was that like to deal with that at such a young age because you were a star?
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I really didn't know how to deal with it back then, but I look back on that and realized what we had. We had something special because I didn't think that highly of myself. I just thought I was just a normal player. I mean, right in the top 5 in the country, but I mean, I didn't feel any pressure. Or anything
don't
like
discount
that.
Yourself. You was ranked number 1 your sophomore year.
I like how he did it. He goes, normal player. Ranked top 5.
Right. Yeah, that was 8th grade when I got that title. So I had it all the way up.
I was ranked like
junior.
20,000.
Yeah. Go ahead. But I just didn't look at it like that because I was always level-headed. Because at the time I was with the Grants, and so Tom and Mrs. Grant, just very laid-back people. I mean, and so I kind of got that attitude from them. And also their sons who I was living with. Then eventually, I had my son in high school, so I was thinking about that, worried about that, didn't know how to deal with that as well. So just basically, I was just out there just playing ball. That's all I was doing.
But how wild or out of control was the recruiting process for you? Because clearly you could have gone wherever you wanted to go. You ended up at UCLA. Yep. But that's we talk about this like on the show. We'll talk about this player's being recruited by that team and everything else. But I mean, that's so much for a kid to have on their plate and to be making this decision that's going to affect them for the next 4 years and beyond. And so how did you handle that? And how did you decide that, okay, it's UCLA. I'm gonna because you could have stayed local.
Yeah, I know.
But you
I had
went
3 schools that I wanted to play for: Kentucky, KU, and UCLA. And so, basically, the recruiting process. I mean, it ain't like it today because social media is out there. And so,
how much NIL money
Oh
can
my
you get today?
goodness.
You ever asked that? What kind of deal could you have got?
Man,
Well, you could have, sir. You named your prize. You see some of these players.
Yeah, getting $2 million.
I know, right?
Like what? Oh,
Right?
Back in the day, oh my goodness!
Timing is everything.
Yeah, I would have stayed in school for 8 years, just hanging out.
So you had those 3 schools, and you're looking at it:
Yes.
Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA.
Yes. And the ultimate thing was I wanted to really go to KU, but there were some things in the background that hanging out with my friends who were a little bit out of control. But I mean, so
We all been there.
I know. And so my mom really wanted me to kind of go far away from that KU environment because I was up there almost every weekend.
Right, because
So,
being
hanging
KU
out.
so close to Kansas City, it's right.
Watching so many games and everything. But then the ultimate thing was just Earl being there because we were
Earl
roommates.
Watson,
Yeah, Earl Watson. We was on the when we'd be on the road and things like that. That was my roommate. So that started back eighth grade, 7th grade. We already knew each other since we probably 5th grade because we played against the Running Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but
We were the Running Rebels.
yeah, I know who y'all were. We won every time.
I was never a starter. I was
Yeah.
Earl,
But-
man, they was killing.
Yeah, but the huge decision was, I mean, Earl and all the teammates, you had Toby Bailey calling me, Chris Johnson, Jelani McCoy. So all these big name people who they just came off of national title in 95, 96. And so, and I just love the school. I mean, it's just beautiful out in California. So, but I think that ultimately I wish I would have went to a smaller school because UCLA is just so big. I mean, you
Get overwhelmed.
You got all the movie stars, you got everybody at the game, and just things like that. So I think it was a lot.
What movie star sticks out? Like when you looked over, you're like, oh my God, this person's here, or like when you got starstruck, or
yeah, I mean, we had a ton of people. Sil was always there. Wilt was there before he passed away. We always had Bill Walton on the side.
hey, you playing in front of Bill Walton and Will.
Yeah, he was doing the commentating for the games.
Right.
So we had talked to him before, like, "Hey, what's up, JaRon? How's things going? How's practice this week?" And just talking to him, and then, I mean, you had all those '90s stars, like anywhere from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was there. Biggs from American Pie.
Yeah.
He was actually on my back one night when we was racing and scratched up his whole hand running to the wall.
Right.
It was the funniest thing ever. But no, just seeing all those, I mean, just everywhere you turn around, you see somebody. So
you I mean, and we could go on for 3 hours about this, right?
mm-hmm.
But now, so you're coaching, right?
Yes.
And you've had the Rush name has continued in
Yes.
basketball. So talk about that. Talk about watching that happen,
Mm-hmm.
and then what made you decide? You know what, I want to coach. I want to teach kids and help maybe mentor them.
Well, I started off with training. Coaching. I was with Jeb Boshi's basketball team that he had way back in the day. I think that was probably 2005, 2006 or 7 that I was coaching with that team. And so, but I was always engaged with basketball because then Shea was coming up. And so, I mean, I didn't train with him as much as I should have because he's always out doing his own thing with his friends and everything. But they was always putting in work. And so then about 7 years ago, I think this is after Shea left North Carolina. No, he didn't leave that early.
Well, you know Shea, though.
Yeah, of
Shea
course.
played
My son.
for Roy
Yeah.
Williams at
Roy Williams, national champ.
I know, right?
Got 2 of them in the family.
What was that like? To watch your son go through that.
It was unbelievable. because he wasn't playing that much, but he was on a really, really good team. I mean, yeah, Marcus Page, and you had all of those guys who he really, really looked up to. And so it was just exciting, brought tears to my eyes every time just watching him out there on the court. And then you had all my friends from high school, all them, Earl taking pictures at the game with him in Vegas, or just seeing all the guys, Matt Barnes, all those guys sitting there hanging out with my son. And so it was just crazy. And so that's what it was like. I mean, that's why I really wanted to start getting into basketball more. And so 7 years ago, I started Rush training. So basically what goes on there is just learning all the little things, learning all the fundamentals, getting a lot of reps up, just doing it the right way. And so that's what I'm trying to teach all these guys or girls that I'm training every day.
So boys and girls and any age you work
any
with?
Age. I think the youngest is 5. I think the oldest is I worked out a couple of my teammates back from Pembroke.
Right.
So basically, I mean, you can just go to the website, www.rushtrainingkc.com, and just get on there and schedule. But the thing about it, I like it because I can block off time for myself. So I'm running my own business.
Right.
And I'm based out of Powell Community Center, which is right up the street from me, so it's convenient. But, I mean, it's just a good thing. But I love what I'm doing because I'm giving back, trying to teach what all the coaches and everybody taught me when I was growing up. So, I mean, I look forward to it all the time. So, and then me and Kareem, we created Rush Elite. We started back at the beginning of May. And so we're starting off with 3rd graders, so we're going to do it through the summer. Then let the kids get back in school, having a different tryout, adding more teams, we're going to add more coaches, just like you did with your Northland Elite teams. So with adding more coaches, kind of take a back seat from trying to be there every day like you do.
Right. Like he is.
Yeah, I know.
Like he is. It's so Rick, you have a chance, like I said, to coach girls and boys at all ages and different levels. And that's such an interesting discussion now, right? Youth sports and how hard do you push your kid? Do you have them specialize in a sport? Is it better to play multiple sports, right? Mm-hmm. So what, like, if a parent comes up to you and say they have a kid that's got some talent, grade school, whatever, and they're asking you advice, how do I think my son or daughter has a future in basketball, whether it's just in high school, whether it's playing at an NAIA division, whatever. Mm-hmm. What's the first bit of advice that you give them as far as doing it the right way and helping their kid pursue their dream of playing basketball?
Well, one thing, and it's still a struggle, but I let parents know that based off what team that they're going to be on, they have to. I mean, if they're good, they have to earn their spot. No, nothing is given, and also, whatever team you on, that don't mean that they're going to win every game. You know, so a lot of parents will be like, "Oh, we got murdered. Oh, we got this." Well, the thing is, your kid is probably playing up a little bit now. You know, well, can we go to rec? Why do you want to go to rec? Because you're not. I mean, they're dominating rec because that's why you think your kid is good, right? I'm just being honest, right?
Yeah,
you know, you're not allowed to steal, but once they hit the other circuit, you know, now you're like, hey, well, they're not doing as good as you thought they were. They need more work. They need more training. They need more, you know, this and that. You know what I'm saying? So
and look, I haven't coached as much as you guys, but I've coached enough to where sometimes it's more difficult to deal with the parents than it is with the kids. Yeah. And then to satisfy, and to satisfy their expectations. And what I've tried, and so and you know, coaching your own kid is also tough too, because you want to tell them, hey, look, I'm not giving you nothing. I might even be harder on you than I normally would because I want to show that I'm not favored. You know, you're not. I'm not going to show any favoritism. But like, you know, what I try to tell my daughter, I said, look, what you want to do is you want to be a part of a team where you have a role, and whatever it is you got to do to help that team win. Come off the bench. You got to play defense on that day. Come off the bench. You might have to handle the ball. Come off the bench. We need rebounding. Just be a part of that culture and be a part of a winning culture. Be coachable. Listen to the coach. And you're going to get something out of it. And you may not play the next level, but it's going to help you in life. It's going to help you face adversity. And you know as well as I do, we'll get parents that have these ideas of what their kid is and it just doesn't fit what reality is.
Mhm.
And then you got to, and they're doing their kid a disservice by filling their head with the idea you should be starting, or you should be the point guard,
Oh,
or
yeah,
you should be,
right.
and
Exactly.
and then the kid shows up, and I feel bad for the kid because it's not them; it's the parent that's filling their heads.
Yes.
Most parents are good, but the advice I give is just be honest with your kid about what they are, what their skills are, and what they should do. Right? That's the first thing.
Yep.
Well, one thing too is like, me growing up, I was looking up, playing with Earl and them, this is at like 7th grade, but looking up to these guys, I'm like, man, I got to get better. You know what I'm saying? And like, I didn't take that as I wanted to leave. I was out there at Kensington Park in Kansas City, Kansas. You remember Kensington?
Sure.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
out there playing outside or playing in the little gym and stuff like that, just trying to get better because I knew where I wanted to get to, the type of level. And a lot of kids, they have like their phones now. They don't get outside enough, and we us coaches, JaRon and I, even you know who's been working their butts off. Outside of practice.
Yes.
Or just attitude's so important, right?
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
Being coachable and having the right attitude. And so like for you, JaRon, and I thought of this when I knew we were going to be on the podcast. I listened. George Brett talked about this one time when he was the hitting coach briefly for the Royals. Sometimes it's hard for a player in any sport that was great as a player to be able to convey that to kids or try to coach that because they can't do what you expect them to do, or to be able they can't relate. You know what I mean? There's but some coaches are great at it, right? But for you, what's your approach? Say like when you're training a kid one-on-one, right? And you can do all these unbelievable things. And like Rick said, you look up and you're like, you want to try to emulate, but there's things you've done, you can do that most kids can't do, right?
Yes.
And so you have to be able to coach them at their level and have expectations. So how do you handle that? Because it's just you come from the background of being one of the greatest high school players that ever played in Kansas City.
I mean, the way I deal with it, I can tell right off the bat who I'm working with, what I need to do, just the little things like that. With most of my younger kids, I'm working on dribbling. I'm working on shooting layups. I'm having them doing wall shoots, just trying to get their upper body stronger, just things like that. Once they get up into the middle school age area, it's a little bit different. Because now I'm putting all the little things. I'm putting in the rocker step. I'm putting in coming off of picks, one dribble to the middle, just all those little things. Not trying to be flashy in any way. I think a lot of coaches or trainers are trying to be a lot flashy, trying to do the Euro step every time and all that. Just go and put the layup. Just go and put the layup in. That's what it all matters.
Learn how to shoot the layup first before you can do that.
I'm like, what? What are you doing a Euro step? I don't even know how to do that. I don't.
They didn't do that back in our day.
No,
we didn't have a Euro step.
Ginobili.
Right.
Came about. So, I just teach them all the little things. Then the high schoolers, I push them a lot. I got one of my kids that came yesterday. He's about to be a freshman at Rockhurst College, right there on Truce. And so his name's Abdul. And so, he's about 6'8", 6'9", and we just work. He's yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
And you love that, and that makes you want to coach them more.
Yes,
as opposed to the opposite. Like we've coached some kids like.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to go to another program?
I know they get attitude,
right?
Because they missed the layup.
Yeah,
they mad at us because they missed.
Right. So another question that I kind of touched on, but I ask you guys both: if do you think kids like say they love basketball? That's what they want to pursue. Is it good for them to play multiple sports or play basketball year round? Just focus on basketball, or do something else? Like maybe play a little softball on the side, or play or run track, or something else to make their maybe athleticism a little bit more multifaceted.
Well, my opinion on that is you never try to make a kid decide if they're young.
Right.
Once they start getting into that high school circuit, and now they're doing like AAU basketball or something like that, now you gotta say, okay, well, scouts, because they got Twitter, they got Huddle, they got all these different platforms. Like they start following you. Like just look at Addison Bajorn.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
That's right.
she. A lot of colleges was looking at her before she even played one step of high school basketball.
And she's an unbelievable player.
Yeah, she's great. And I coached her too. It was
Yeah, there you go.
all right, but
And I know her parents. What's up?
Play.
oh gosh.
I mean,
But anyway, like let's talk about my son. Mateo.
And how old's he right now?
He's 11. He's gonna be 12 in December. He's gonna be 6th grade. But unfortunately, he didn't, because I didn't have time. He wasn't able to do other sports other than basketball. Because
Right.
But now he's doing soccer, which he's fast and he's good at. You know what I'm saying? So I want them to be able, give him a few years playing soccer and basketball, and then once you get out of middle school now, or some kids are before that. Some kids go through extensive training for basketball, even like from 6th grade all the way to 8th grade, getting ready to, if you in Park Hill, after you get done with your 8th grade year, now you get invited to Pitt State, which is the high school camp, which if you get invited to that, that's great. What I'm saying? And that's when, I'm just give them time to figure it out, because some of them may have a love,
Right.
for a certain thing different.
And you don't know if you love something until you try it, right?
Absolutely,
And so,
right.
like, what do you think about that, JaRon?
I think just the same thing he said. Just because my son, he did a lot of other things besides playing basketball.
And it keeps him maybe from getting burned out if they're just doing the same thing over and over again.
Because he was doing soccer, he was doing baseball, water skiing, going to
water skiing.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that one. He said water skiing.
Yeah, all
right.
He's a skier on the black and double black and all that. Yeah,
I ain't never been on skis. I don't know what you're
never
talking about.
have either.
I never will.
have
but
either.
That's fine.
So that's
know.
what I was told.
I'm happy for him, but that ain't gonna happen with me.
Yeah, but eventually, like when he starts to get in middle school and everything, he saw all the players around him, like little Jacob, Jariah Horn. He saw all those guys working, and so then that's when he decided, I don't want to play. I don't want to do anything else. Right. I want to just concentrate on basketball.
But he decided it, and so then that
he decided.
Right.
I want.
Right.
I don't care what. I didn't care what he wanted to do. I don't care what my daughters do. I just want you to be successful at whatever you do, and just be happy. That's the key. I want you to be happy.
So you said burnt out.
Yeah.
And you you did the intern interview with Yu.
Yeah.
And she was talking right.
Yeah.
So she was talking about basketball was something I didn't really want to keep pursuing. And honestly, and if you've seen her play now, she's very good. She's super good.
Right.
But
she told us she's better than her sister.
okay, yeah, I'm not gonna go into that. Because I want a happy house,
Right.
So, but like she had to go to everything, especially when I got more busier,
Right.
having more teams. Guess who had to be at practice? She had to always be there. Guess who had to play every game? She did. So after a while, yes, and then having to experience other coaches once she moved on from me, playing high school and stuff, that she was like, maybe this ain't for me.
Right.
I just thought she was tired, So,
I got twin girls.
right.
And so, like, Selena's continued her love of basketball. Julia got to a point, and then when she was done with 8th grade, she tried out at Pius, but I knew she wasn't. She tried out, but she was kind of doing it because I think she thought that's what I wanted her to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, I love track and field. That's what I want to do. I said, well, okay then, But she enjoyed playing in grade school, but then that was it for her, and I respect that. And so on the topic of being girl dads and girls basketball, I talked about this on the radio, and I'll share this. I thought it was a really cool moment, and I want to ask you guys about what's going on with women's basketball. We were getting ready to play on Sunday down in Tulsa, and we're all in the hotel lobby, and all the girls and some of the parents are gathered around the TV, watching the WNBA game, right? Watching Chicago and Indiana, watching Caitlin Clark, and everyone's and all the dads, watch this, watch that, and it's like and they're locked in. Like my daughter's watched some basketball. She was a big fan of Sophie Cunningham at Mizzou. She's watched different. We went to for 2 or 3 years. We went to damn near every UMKC basketball game, women's game. But this is different, right? We've seen this blow up now. And you look at what the ratings were for the Final Four. You look at what the ratings are now in attendance for WNBA. I feel like women's basketball and girls basketball is peaking right now at a level we haven't seen. And we've seen, I just thought, man, this is such a cool moment. We're getting ready to go play in a girls basketball tournament. We're watching the WNBA. Everyone's all fired up. The dads are talking to the girls. This is like a cool moment. What have you seen since you coach at these different levels? And I'll ask you both this, how women's basketball has changed over the past couple of years and the popularity has exploded. And we see, and it is not just Caitlin Clark. This rookie class has been incredible. Yeah. And like when Juju's done at USC and comes to the WNBA, she's gonna be something. She's already something, right? She's already something to watch. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like we're seeing this happen right in front of our eyes, but we see it connect at a different level because we coach these girls. How have you seen this change over the past couple of years and what women's basketball is becoming right now?
Well, me personally, is like when I started, that's when the WNBA kind of started, And then I remember watching my first WNBA game. I'm like, man, these girls are tough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they get after it. Oh, yeah. And, like, they fall to the ground. Now, we were spoiled looking for dunks and stuff during the game. Yeah. But these girls really, man, they get after it. Now, like, these girls are motivated, I think, more now, knowing that they don't have to follow a Kobe Bryant or a LeBron James. They got girls or women, respectfully,
right?
Women that they can look at, be like, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? And then you like the high school scene not high school, but college scene is really blown up. Just like over the years with South Carolina, they become like
incredible, right? Because for a while there it was either UConn or Tennessee or UConn, and then it's kind of opened up a little bit, and then Iowa, and now, like you said, Iowa, South Carolina is like the dynasty right now.
So now these girls are more attracted to being able to play college ball, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. I think just kind of, Caitlin Clark did this, oh man, maybe I can,
Yeah. I think more and more girls are becoming more committed to basketball. To the basketball game.
And they see a path too, and like, because even like just for this rookie class alone, we talk about Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, who just unfortunately had a torn ACL. Yeah. But when do you remember a time like a rookie class where we had so many different players that are getting talked about like that, that are legitimate? Like, I'm going to watch a game because I want to see her. I want to see her. It's just it's different now.
Yep, hugely different. I think with social media and everything, they're seeing these girls off the court, and just wanting to be like them. They see, all the things that they're doing. They're in there working out. They're in there playing pickleball. They're in there doing all the things to make them a better basketball player. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm not saying that a lot of girls didn't come out like when the WNBA started, but I just think it's taken over here in this country, and so which is a good thing, and everybody's talking about it. So hopefully they continue to grow and grow and grow. And
so even the girls' nationals that we're going to be going to down in August, like I've been doing it for like probably about 6 years. Every year the girls' teams.
So you're seeing the numbers go up.
Grow. Mm-hmm. The first year we did, I think it was like 800 girls' teams. Second year we did it, I think it went up to 1,000 or something like that. And like over the years, and like so my rep that I talked to as far as getting us to the nationals and all these tournaments. He said, "Yeah, we're looking at 2,000 girls teams this year in OKC for the nationals."
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I'm saying that you see it from that
it's growing,
perspective,
like crazy,
right? And just like the number of teams that you have to, like how many teams are you responsible for coaching right now? Like, I know you've got other coaches or whatever, but like where you feel like you have to go to the game or have to go to the practice, because it's at all times.
Well, I'll say this, we all work hard, even parents work hard,
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of work, but the thing is I try to make myself available, for everything, not just the teams that I'm coaching, but like if they see Coach Rick come up, show up to a game or a tournament or something, and I'm taking photos and
Right.
stuff, and then start posting. And they love that. I get them like little $5 McDonald's, like especially little girls, $5 McDonald's cards. But hey, good job. Do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to make myself available. Now the house may not be too happy, but I'm always going there.
Yeah. So for you, and you coach a team with Rush Elite, but also you do the one-on-one training, right?
Yes.
And you work with boys and girls. And
Yes.
so if someone's asking you, and I'm sure they can start as early as possible, but like when is it a good time to maybe start doing one-on-one training besides being on a team, or even if it's a rec team or competitive team? When do you recommend to start doing that, or how often, if you think that your kid loves basketball or has a chance to play in high school, when you have that balance that we talked about? You don't want to burn them out, you want to force them to do stuff, but what's the best way to get them going in the right direction?
Well, it is basically just if they really, really love the game and really want to get better at the game, then they'll be in there training. Because the team practices are about team, building as a team. But outside those team practices, you got to do the individual work. You got to do the little things like that. And that's how you're going to get better, putting in the extra work besides just the practices and things like that. Getting out there and playing pickup with people. Just in the gym, just shooting.
Play.
Yeah, just playing. And so whenever the kid feels like it, then let's go. Let's do it. Because sometimes I think the parents kind of push their kids into it. And so they're not really into it.
But you could tell, though.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit harder. So, but
I started getting that from Julia, like,
but I still go by and give them a high five,
Right.
and clapping them up. Just trying to motivate them. So that's the thing I do.
So what kind of coach are you? Are you calm? I guess it also depends on the age, whatever. But are you like, do you find yourself emulating any of the coaches you had? Do you yell? I mean, are you a fiery? Like, what kind of coach are you?
I'm not fiery. I'm not anything like that. But I'm just trying to get them in the right position. I'm talking to them like I've been there before. Doing it this way can get you results this way. And so not really yelling so much, but just trying to encourage them, motivate them, high five and things like that.
You know what's coming, right? I'm going to stand up for this one. So here's the deal. So my girls have always loved playing for Coach Rick, right? Yeah. And he makes it fun. And he has a way of explaining things, and that's the key to coaching, right? Explaining things that the kids understand so they go out and execute the play, right?
Yes.
So we play this team on Saturday in Tulsa, and they had a unique defense. Explain what the defense was when they came out. When we started off, we were down 8-0.
So
the girls were a little.
They played this 3-2 zone, which was starting right at the half court line. Oh, yeah. And they had the two in the back, probably like free throw line extended, where they would jump everything that the two free throw line extended, or just a little bit farther back. They would jump everything that's going to the middle. Yeah. And we didn't figure it out, Yeah. And I was like, well, I learned this actually from Coach Earl running practice. I said 0.5 seconds, then the zone, make them shift. Yep. Our girls, oh God, my daughter Mimi would bring it down and boom, turnover. Boom. Bring it down, turnover. Yeah,
you see him, he's getting hot.
Yeah.
So
we were down 8-0 in that first game.
Well, you know what? Because it's the radio, I'm not just blaming her. It was everybody.
Right. No, it was.
I don't want
everybody had.
I want a happy house when I get home.
But everybody had their hand in this, and but we fought back. We ended up losing that game.
Yep.
And I went back to the room and I was mad. Should have won that game. So we got through it, and then that night we're talking about what we're going to do because we know we're going to see them again if we win this thing. Mm-hmm. We see them again in the championship game. And they were cocky and they had their headphones on before the game, kind of staring our girls down. And I don't know if you noticed, one of the cool things that happened was, so we played the semifinals. Our girls sat on the home bench, and then they sat on the home bench for the team on the next semifinals. And then we went over before someone could claim. We claimed the bench before they could, and they were trying to sell it because this is our bench. We're gonna show them, But it was like, oh, okay, they're standing up to them. They're not intimidated. And so we think we got everything set. We're all good. We start the championship game against that same team. Mm-hmm. Same thing. We're down 8-2 just like that. Mm-hmm. He calls a timeout. And I'm coaching up with him, and he gets up there, and I mean, he was hot. We didn't drive from Kent down here to Tulsa for you to go and throw the ball. I'm like, he's getting me fired up, and they're looking around. Yeah. I'm laughing, and but inside I'm not laughing. I'm looking. Yeah, that's right. Because I'm just I'm trying to motivate. I go, we are better than them. I go play like it, and the girls went out and they played like it.
Oh no, so you didn't. So Susan,
my
wife
wife
told Sonia. Yeah. She said, because I think she said, I guess I said that, no more missed layups. It was something like I was yelling at him, and she said, Coach Rick don't want to lose this game.
Yeah. Oh no, because he was hot. Oh, yeah. And so then we started getting to him, and there was a girl, the war number 3, that was hitting threes. We told him, do not let her breathe, and she hits a couple threes. And then we took my daughter, and then you stick her and stay with her, and made her mad. Long story short, she got thrown out of her huddle. She was crying. That coach was losing his mind and yelling, and the parents were yelling. And then we kind of got to see the bad part we were talking about. Yeah. Hey, this is one thing to motivate, and you were yelling in the motivation. He was just he lost and then he lost control of his team. Yeah. And they were throwing stuff and crying, and parents and
they yelling, dribbling the ball down. And one girl threw the ball down. She got mad because nobody was getting open.
But but my point to all that is, there's a line, right? When you're coaching kids, you want to motivate them, you want to get the best out of them, you want to be stern at some point, but you can't go crazy like that, because then you lose the kid, and then that's not fun for anyone anymore, right?
True. And
you just got to be able to handle it. How do you get your point? Maybe if they're not doing what you told them to do, and get your point across, right? Like how do you because you want them, you want kids to be tough, you want kids to learn how to face adversity, but it's different now coaching a kid to what it was 20 or 30 years ago.
Yes.
It's just different, right? Yeah. And so how do you want that kid to be tough, you want that kid to face adversity, but also you want them, you don't want to push them away.
No,
right?
You don't. No, because the thing is, you're just trying to motivate them, and trying not to crush them, and just have them lose all their confidence. So I'm always there encouraging them to do this. Let's see if we could do something like this. Just the little things like that. And so just try not to crush their spirits or anything like that. But I'm a motivator. I don't yell or anything like that, but just trying to show you the right way to do things.
And it was also fake, because you don't yell that often. You don't do it that often. When you did, like even the parents, Coach Rick wants to win this game. Like I was like, Coach Rick wants to win. Let's go. And so for you, do you change your style? What you almost have to, right? If it's like 3rd or 4th grade to middle school to high school, that's not easy to bounce around and coach all those different levels.
A light switch, especially going from say my 3rd grade girls to coaching starting with my varsity boys, and then going next game I'm coaching my 3rd grade. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a light switch. You gotta. But one thing what I've been telling the kids, I learned this from a coach, because I kind of study just coaches. It's like one thing I've learned, that I tell them, you should be afraid if the coach isn't aggressive on you, or if he's not pushing you, or if he's not yelling.
Because he's not invested.
Right. Now, once the coach stopped doing that, that means that he don't trust you. He know that you aren't going anywhere.
And doesn't think you're listening.
Right. But once the coach start doing that, he believes in you. He knows how good you are, So all of our girls, I knew exactly where they are, and
they won that game.
Why, so you kind of got to know your team, your players too. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, with girls, of course, they're an emotional group.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, trust me. I learned I can't coach my daughter in the car after the game. She don't want to hear from me. She don't want to talk about anything. She goes, don't talk about the game. I said, okay. Right. Exactly. I said, I was going to, but now I won't, because I want a happy home. Yeah, all right, we're going to wrap things up here. And so you've been asked this a million times. So I don't care. We're going to get on the record right now. We just heard about how his older daughter says, I could beat my younger daughter, even if she's better than me at that age. I could beat her now. And so do you and Kareem ever play like one-on-one or over the years? Have you ever tried to settle this thing over who the best rush is, whether you, Brandon, Kareem, even if it's a game of horse,
Yep.
Have you ever said, "No, I'm tired of this debate. We're going to figure this out right
They
now."
already know I am. They already know.
They already know.
Yeah.
So there doesn't have to be anything. They'll so if I talk to them right now, they say, "Oh, it's
yeah,
good."
they tell you. Yeah, they sit there and tell you. But no, we really haven't played since it was probably in high school. Me and Kareem, and then Brandon was being so young. I think we played maybe when he was out there with Golden State, but we wasn't really playing for real. But no, then after college and after they was in the league, knees and everything are bad. So you don't want all that. You don't want it.
But they know. They don't need.
Yeah, they know. Yeah, they
it's been established.
Yeah, they already know.
All right. And so, and then we talked about. I wanted to ask you this too: transfer portal in college basketball. Is it? I mean, it gives freedom to players, right?
Yes.
But it's like free agency. You think it's is it good for college basketball, or is it going to end up wrecking college basketball?
I think it's going to end up wrecking college basketball because I mean, I really don't understand it. How you can go to one school this year and transfer real quick and then be eligible to play again. Just like, wow. I mean, there's no commitment or anything there.
And coaches can't be hard on some players because 1 year and then I don't like this. I'm leaving.
Yeah, and they going for the money. So wherever the biggest payday is, that's where they're going to go. And so I don't really like it. I think if you're at one school, go and be there, enjoy the moment, and just create that team bond and everything like that. Because we really didn't have that back in the day. It wasn't used that much, and then you had to sit out a year if you did. And so, but I mean, you got a player transferring 1 year to this one, next year to another one, next year to another one. Like, where's your
3 or 4
chemistry?
Yeah,
like
no
that.
chemistry at all. I mean, that's why KU is losing because they bring in everybody.
They make Rick mad now.
And I was about to say, you've been talking about JaRon and Kareem all day. You didn't say nothing about Brandon,
I
who
did
won the
finally.
last at the end of the show, about 2008
Brandon was here
KU
last
national
week.
championship.
He was there last week.
You go to KU.
So okay, so tell people that are listening or watching you said players from all over, if they're interested in playing for Northland Elite, what's the best way to go about it? How do they do it?
So just go to kcnle.com, and on the first page you can go ahead and just fill out the form, and then actually everything comes to me. I will reach out to you individually. So sorry for the ones I haven't reached out to yet.
There's some people out there, and I sent this.
There's a lot, and I
know because
apologize.
there's a lot of people that come to me. You know any team?
That's
I'm
right.
Right.
Partners
And the
with
cool
Northland
thing
Elite.
is, because Rush Training is like a partnership, you can actually go on the same website and you can sign up for training for Rush Training as well.
Hey, look, and my girls will play for you, and you changed their approach to basketball, and they love playing for you. I can't give a higher recommendation.
Oh, thank you.
We become good friends, and you allow me to say, give such important advice on the bench, like keep your hands up, girls, rebound the ball,
Right. Right.
shoot the ball, and that's my input because it's very good.
Yep.
And for you, and just so JaRon, same thing. And so what? Availability, any age, any level for you to train?
Any age. Availability is always there. I'm there Monday through Friday. There's some times that are blocked off because they have things in the morning, but I'm doing it all the way up at 8 a.m. To all the way to 9 p.m.
And where do you train at?
Powell Community Center is right there in Mission, Kansas. So
Okay.
6200 Martway, Mission, Kansas.
All right.
So that's where I do all my training at.
And
he can come up north,
Yeah.
if you have any players.
and tell the website again where people can get the information.
www.kcnle.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Play for Northland Elite. Get trained by JaRon Rush, and you got Rush Elite also starting to start off, and you guys are working together, and hopefully take over the whole Midwest.
Yes,
Yeah,
that'd be
we're
great.
like brothers, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think there's a contest that I lose every time, like every Father's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving. He always called me first. Hey, man.
No, you call in the morning down in Tulsa.
I think I got you one time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
but
so.
man, that's what I'm saying. We're all brothers, and like just the community, like even with like, Earl Watts, and you know, all of us, we all just kind of just really focus on the kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with us, you know. So
And also, you know, not just basketball coaches and mentors, right?
absolutely,
Advice and helping them make the right decisions, and having that type of coaching helps these kids in life make decisions too.
right. And we try to if you look at our website, our whole mission is to foster kids, and what I mean by that is like you got some kids that just don't have opportunity, you know, and we want to be able to provide that. Even though, hey, this is a club, you know, we got some single parents out there, some parents losing their jobs and stuff. Hey, we'll work with you. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's all about getting the kid what they need, because at the end of the day, you never know who you're gonna bless and who you're helping out in the long run. They're gonna remember you forever. You know?
Hey, dude, I've seen you do that, and I know that you make it available to everyone. All they got to do is want to do it, right?
Absolutely.
And have the right attitude. All right, Rick Parker
Yes, sir.
and JaRon Rush. No, we're gonna have to do this again.
Oh yeah.
All right, because there's a lot more. I feel like we talked about training kids and everything. Now we'll get into some basketball stories next time.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe some trash talk on some people or something. I don't know what else. That's Rick Parker. That is JaRon Rush. My name's Stephen St. John. This has been Hot Mic with SSJ. Until next episode, the microphone is off.